In Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism, the five Tathagatas or five wisdom Tathagatas, the five great Buddhas and the five Jinas, are five Buddhas which are often venerated together. Various sources provide different names for these Buddhas, though the most common today are Akshobhya, Ratnasambhava, Vairocana, Amitabha, and Amagasiddhi. They are sometimes seen as emanations and representations of the five qualities of the Adi Buddha or first Buddha, which is associated with the Dharmakaya. Some sources also include this first Buddha as a sixth Buddha along with the five. These five Buddhas are a common subject of Vajrayana mandalas and they feature prominently in various Buddhist tantras. The five Tathagatas are the primary object of realization and meditation in Shingon Buddhism, a school of Vajrayana Buddhism founded in Japan by Kukai. In Chinese Buddhism, veneration of the five Buddhas have dispersed from Chinese esoteric Buddhism into the other Chinese Buddhist traditions like Chen and Tiantai. They are regularly enshrined in many Chinese Buddhist temples and regularly invoked in rituals, such as the liberation rite of water and land and the Yogacara flaming mouth ceremony, as well as prayers and chants. They are also sometimes called the Dhyani Buddhas, a term first recorded in English by Brian Houghton Hodgson, a British resident in Nepal, in the early 19th century, and is unattested in any surviving traditional primary sources. The five wisdom Buddhas are a development of the Buddhist tantras and later became associated with the Trikaya or three-body theory of Buddhahood. While in the Tathagatas Tantra there are only four Buddha families, the full diamond realm mandala with five Buddhas first appears in the Vajrasekhara Sutra. The Vajrasekhara also mentions a sixth Buddha, Vajradhara, a Buddha, or principle, seen as the source, in some sense, of the five Buddhas.
The five Buddhas are aspects of the Dharmakaya, Dharma body, which embodies the principle of enlightenment in Buddhism. Initially, two Buddhas appeared to represent wisdom and compassion, Akshobhya and Amitabha. A further distinction embodied the aspects of power, or activity, and the aspect of beauty, or spiritual riches. In the Golden Light Sutra, an early Mahayana text, the figures are named Dundabishvara and Ratnaketu, but over time their names changed to become Amagasiddhi and Ratnasambhava. The central figure came to be called Vairocana. When these Buddhas are represented in mandalas, they may not always have the same color or be related to the same directions. In particular, Akshobhya and Vairocana may be switched. The five Tathagatas are protected by five wisdom kings, and in China and Japan are frequently depicted together in the mandala of the two realms. In the Ragama Santra revealed in the Ragama Sutra, an especially influential Dharni in the Chinese Chan tradition. The five Tathagatas are mentioned as the hosts of the five divisions which controls the vast demon armies of the five directions. In the east is the Vajra division, hosted by Akobhya, in the south, the jewel-creating division, hosted by Ratnasambhava, in the center, the Buddha division, hosted by Vairocana, in the west, the Lotus division, hosted by Amitabha, in the north, the Karma division, hosted by Amagasiddhi.
In East Asia, they each are also often depicted with consorts, and preside over their own pure lands, with the aspiration to be reborn into a pure land being the central point of Pure Land Buddhism. Although all five Buddhas have pure lands, it appears that only Sukhavati of Amitabha, and to a much lesser extent Aparati of Akshobhya, where great masters like Vimalakirti and Milarepa are said to dwell, attracted aspirants.
Buddha nature refers to several related Buddhist terms, most notably Tathagatagarbha and Buddhadhatu. Tathagatagarbha means the womb or embryo, garbha, of the thus gone Tathagata, or containing a Tathagata, while Buddhadhatu literally means Buddha realm or Buddha substrate. Buddha nature is a central topic in Mahayana Buddhism which explains how it is possible that all sentient beings can attain the state of a Buddha. The term first appears in several sutras which are associated with the Gupta period. One meaning of the term is that all sentient beings contain an enlightened Buddha within them. Paul Williams also explains that this can also imply that sentient beings have a Tathagata within them in seed or embryo, that sentient beings are the wombs or matrices of the Tathagata, or that they have a Tathagata as their essence, core, or essential inner nature. Another way of speaking about this idea is that it is that which enables sentient beings to become Buddhas. Buddha nature has a wide range of, sometimes conflicting, meanings in Indian and later East Asian and Tibetan Buddhist literature. And the idea of Buddha nature may refer to, among others, the luminous nature of mind, the pure, visuddhi, undefiled mind, the natural and true state of the mind, sunyata, an emptiness that is a non-implicative negation, as emptiness is seen in Madhyamaka, the alayavijnana, store consciousness, a Yogacara concept, the interpenetration of all dharmas, and the potential for all sentient beings to attain liberation. Debates on what the term means continues to be a major part of Mahayana Buddhist scholastics. The term Buddha nature is closely related in meaning to the term Tathagatagarbha, but is not a translation of this term. It refers to what is essential in the human being. The corresponding Sanskrit term is Buddhadhatu. It has two meanings, namely the nature of the Buddha, equivalent to the term Dharmakaya, and the cause of the Buddha. The link between the cause and the result is the nature, dhatu, which is common to both, namely the Dharmadhatu. Matsumoto Shiro also points out that Buddha nature translates the Sanskrit term Buddhadhatu, a place to put something, a foundation, locus. According to Shiro, it does not mean original nature or essence. Nor does it mean the possibility of the attainment of Buddhahood, the original nature of the Buddha, or the essence of the Buddha. In the Vajrayana, the term for Buddha nature is Shugatagarbha. The Buddha nature idea was introduced into China with the translation of the Mahaparinirvana Sutra in the early 5th century, and this text became the central source of Buddha nature doctrine in Chinese Buddhism. Based on their understanding of the Mahayana Mahaparinirvana Sutra, some Chinese Buddhists suppose that the teaching of the Buddha nature was, as stated by that sutra, the final Buddhist teaching, and that there is an essential truth above sunyata and the two truths. This idea was interpreted as being similar to the ideas of Tao and principle, Li, in Chinese philosophy. In Tibetan Buddhist scholastics, there are two main camps of interpreting Buddha nature. There are those who argue that Tathagatagarbha is just emptiness, described either as Dharmadhatu, the nature of phenomena, or a non-implicative negation, and there are those who see it as the union of the mind's emptiness and luminosity, which includes the Buddha qualities. The Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism favors what is called the Rangtong interpretation of Prasajika Madhyamaka philosophy. They thus interpret Buddha nature as an expedient term for the emptiness of inherent existence. Other schools, especially the Janong and Kagyu, have tended to accept the Shintong, other empty, Madhyamaka philosophy, which discerns an absolute which is empty of adventitious defilements which are intrinsically other than it, but is not empty of its own inherent existence. These interpretations of the Tathagatagarbha teachings has been a matter of intensive debates in Tibet. The Yogacara concept of the alayavijnana, store consciousness, also came to be associated by some scholars with the Tathagatagarbha. This can be seen in sutras like the Lankavatara, the Srimaladevi, and in the translations of Paramartha. The concept of the alayavijnana originally meant defiled consciousness, defiled by the workings of the five senses and the mind. It was also seen as the mulavijnana, the base consciousness or stream of consciousness from which awareness and perception spring.